Sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, we have very much a friend of the show, a very good friend, Adam, that I randomly met you through, obviously, Cody and bus tours and whatnot, but I've been fortunate enough to maintain a friendship with you long enough to where the second our show got some form of relevancy, I dove head fucking first into getting you on as a goddamn guest, Adam. Ladies and gentlemen, the beer king of Pittsburgh, Adam Sommer with Trace
Make sure
Brewing.
to push that
What's up,
tagline.
What's up,
What's
Adam?
up? How you guys doing, man?
Great.
And Natty's in the chat now. I don't know if you remember the last time you were on Two Beers Deep. Natty was a part of that conversation, so he says hello and what's up. But Adam, last time we spoke to you, you were not at Trace, man. So you were doing a ton of other things, and you've made this headfirst dive into Trace Brewing. So do you want to give us the elevator pitch on Trace real quick?
Yeah, I guess the quick 60-second rundown is we are here in Bloomfield. We're across the street from Cobra. It's 4312 Main Street. We opened December 17th, so the week before Christmas during COVID. We are carry out only. We're a brewery here, just kind of hanging out, making beers. We do have a coffee shop as well. It's right behind me on the right. Yeah, man, it's just kind of hanging out, making some beers, chilling. And I was super excited to join the team. I have been here exactly 1 week. So as Derek said, I'm super new. I just joined the team last week, and I'm actually opening a beer right now.
Is that the Gunna Plum?
This is actually the Orange Sap IPA. I think you guys are having the plum, right?
Yeah, so
I already had a plum.
Josh had a plum. I just take the first sip of mine, which I will be completely honest with you, Adam. I don't enjoy plums, but I will say this beer is tremendous. And then I had the Hop Royalty IPA before
And
this one.
I'm currently drinking the Coal Hill Dortmund Lager.
Which, do you want to dive into that one first?
Please.
Before yeah. So
By all
Josh,
means, what the fuck does that mean?
So Adam, we obviously are trying our best to be well versed in beer, and one of the beers that has been a staple for people in Pittsburgh, Great Lakes Dortmund Gold Lager. And so when we saw that you guys had something with the word Dortmund, Josh and I and Greg, as soccer fans, assumed there was something to do with Dortmund, the German soccer team, meaning there was some kind of German. What is Dortmund in the beer realm? Because that was a legitimate question Josh had that I felt you were the best person to answer.
Yeah, the simple answer is it just stems from a region in Germany, the Dortmunder region, and it's a darker lager that was actually brewed for primarily blue collar working force, hard labor type working people that wanted a simple crushable lager to drink. So the Dortmunder lager, the Coal Hill, just is exactly that. There is, if you go way back, people used to refer to Mount Washington as the Coal Hill of Pittsburgh. This is
No way.
probably over 100 years ago. So we gave it that name to tie it back to Germany, but tie it back to Pittsburgh as well.
Wow. So
Is
go ahead, bud.
Dortmund is the German neighborhood. So Pittsburgh, right, is a million neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and
Right.
everybody kind of Polish Hill, obviously a little racist, but everybody kind of settled in their areas. But
Yeah, totally.
Dortmund
mean-
is the German neighborhood. That's where my grandfather grew up. That's why he grew
Really
up there.
interesting.
Yeah, and it's been kind of a focus of us to try our best, try our damnedest to brew diverse styles. So I know that right now IPAs are super trendy, and today I sent Derek and the team home with several IPAs and the sour and the lager. But I really wanted to push the lager because there seems to be, if we have this same conversation a year from now or 2 years from now, as we get older and as we want to be able to just sit down and drink more than one beer, you're probably going to reach for a lager, like an Iron City or a Bud or a Miller. So our Dortmunder lager is meant to be sit down and have two, have three, have four, and you're good. You're not going to be just rocked.
Well, and those in Pilsners are the toughest beers to make, right? Which is funny because they're simplistic in taste, but it's that simplicity that bites them in the ass. Because with a sour, I was telling Greg, I went out in Philly, and me and my buddy reviewed a brewery, Adam, that had an 11% pale ale that was brewed with iced tea. So it was super unique, super interesting.
Indeed.
It wasn't over the top or anything, but you look at beers like that, and you're like, all right, we asked the guy, we're like, how do you know it's good? He's like, we liked it, and we sold it. With a Pilsner or a lager, though, those are tough because those are tastes that you assume are what you think when you think about beer. So are those traditionally the toughest to make? Am I correct in that statement?
For many reasons, yes. The short answer is absolutely. that is the hardest to make. And I know I'm here at the brewery right now, and the guys are actually back
Such
there
a cool
brewing.
spot, man. The lights look great, by the way.
They look
now.
amazing on camera. Yeah.
That's awesome. I wasn't sure what I was doing. I just set up my laptop right here. But yeah, there's basically 3 reasons why a lager or a pilsner are harder to brew. One is that it's temperature controlled. So the actual fermentation takes place at a lower temperature. If you're brewing an IPA or a porter or a stout or a sour or anything, you could actually add your yeast into the fermentation vessel and ferment that beer at multiple temperatures with mistakes being made, and you can cover them up because the hops are so hoppy and hazy and floral that they actually mask some of the flavor. In a lager, you have nothing to hide behind. You're not able to hide behind the hops or the haze. So you have to get it right. And it actually takes longer to ferment. So because, basically if we were to recreate this beer I'm drinking right now, from start to finish, you're talking 9 to 13 days, about 2 weeks. To do a lager, you need a minimum of 6 weeks of lager time, where it has to slowly lager in a cellar kept between like 50 and 55 degrees, all like super controlled, no bacteria, like very, very tricky. So yeah, the short answer is you got to have it temp controlled, you got to have it clean, you can't hide behind your hops, and you just have to give it the time it needs.
That blows my mind, just for the fact that because of the fact that lagers and pilsners in general are just so mass produced, that it's the one that is requiring so much strenuous work and effort into it, though.
Yeah, man, that's why I don't want to make fun of the big boys, like big guys like Coors and Miller and Bud, who just fucking lean into like American style lagers.
That's why I picked it.
They do what they do so well because they just do that. They have a very scientific process to crank out a huge macro amount of lager. But like, dude, here at Trace, like we're brewing on a small like 10-barrel system, and I mean we'll definitely do lagers, but what happens is it ties up a tank for like a month or a month and a half, but we're not making money on new IPAs or new beers. So we just have to really make sure that like, we're going to go all in and we're going to make a lager, and we're going to purposely bite the bullet and wait for this to be right for you guys, for our guests.
Yeah. So I want to dig a little bit too, Adam, because we've touched on your story a little bit. You and I met because you were driving the Porter tour buses to a bunch of breweries, and you went from a man of every brewery to a man of one brewery. I do want to ask, like, just
Wait, show the shirt again, because the merch is sick.
Oh, Adam. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I have to admit, Adam, Josh is butthurt.
I am. But I don't think we can say that in 2021.
I will buy you.
I don't think you can use
Adam,
that.
when we come
that
in,
term.
I'm just remember I'll buy Josh a hat and a shirt. Okay, just whenever we come in, just add it to the tab.
The colors just pop so nicely too.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, dude.
You went from being a guy for honestly every brewery and every brewery that I had been to or whatever. And honestly, I have to admit, shamelessly, I've name dropped you multiple times just because I know everyone loves you. How does it feel to be a part of a brand and be a part of a vision and be a part of one brewery? And I know that obviously you're still the breweries in Pittsburgh are very aligned with one another. There's a very camaraderie type of feel with it. But how does it feel to be attached to one brand versus being the guy for all of the brands?
Yeah, dude, that's been the trickiest part, to be totally honest with you guys. Like when I put in my 2 weeks and I quit Very Local in January, I told my editor, I was like, hey, like, so I wrote the beer column that dropped every week. We would try to rep every brewery. I mean, and I love following you guys, going to Ultra Genius and Ambridge, going to Cobble House and Coriopolis. Like, you guys rep some great
spots.
breweries that I've written about and that I love to basically like support. So to take that hat, take it off, and just show allegiance to just one has been tricky. There were a lot of factors that played into like why I kind of chose Trace. The focus on diversity and inclusion, the focus on being a space for everyone, the fact that we're doing multiple styles. I showed you guys earlier today the cool ship room, so we're able to do.
Oh, it was amazing.
Dude, I know it's I'm stoked because obviously it's not going to happen today or tomorrow, but in a year when you guys come back and we can have a cool ship beer, it's super exciting to have you guys taste something that was brewed in 2020 or 2021 and be like, yo, remember like those crazy ass like COVID days? Like
my mind was just blown from the aspect of you guys actually putting a top on it and making it just a sit down room.
I
to
instantly
do
thought
that. It's
beer pong,
amazing.
Adam, I have
yeah.
to be honest. I instantly thought beer pong.
Yeah, yeah, maybe quietly. We could probably try to pull that off. Yeah, I don't know that that's gonna happen like in like broad ass daylight, but dude,
No, that's a
yeah,
2024 thing coming out. Yeah.
yeah, man. No, it was just like I put the pieces together and I was like, man, if I make this jump, like the only way I'm gonna commit is if I fully commit. So I had to basically be like, all right, the tours are over, the beer column is over, and like visiting and repping all the breweries is over. I still love them, and it's a very dope, tight industry.
Yeah.
But right now, my interest and my support kind of goes into Trace to make sure that we can make this brand something for everyone, both people here in Bloomfield and the people like you guys coming in to visit and have a good time and hang out with us. So yeah, man, it was a tricky, like kind of a thought process internally, but it was basically a month ago in January that I decided to just commit. And I told Dave, our owner, like, I'm all in.
Well, and talk about a fucking location, right?
Yeah.
Like across from
great.
Cobra in Bloomfield.
Next to Liberty Beer, by the way.
Next to Liberty. I mean, you guys have a sweet spot, and Greg told me when he walked in, and I've driven past it a couple of times. He's like, dude, this thing's built for summer.
It is.
Yeah, like, well, you guys saw the beer garden. It's obviously
It's
snowy
beer garden.
today.
It's deceptively big, yes.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's gonna be wonderful. And you talked us through like your vision of it and the flower pots and everything out. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we were thinking a lot about, so one thing that we lack, so like there's a lot of good, like it's a dope space, it's in a great neighborhood and a great location. We struggle with parking, and I know that that'll be an issue when we talk to folks maybe like our moms and dads ages, because they might want to drive in and have a beer here. Well, honestly, when we built the space and we thought about the folks who would kind of regularly visit, they're going to walk, they're going to bike, they're going to bus. There are like 6 bus lines who drop off between Liberty and Maine right here. You can obviously grab a Lyft or an Uber in non-COVID times pretty easily.
Right off a bikeway, baby.
Right off
Liberty
the bike
bike
lane.
lanes. Come on.
It's literally a block, like the Liberty bike lane is a block away.
Yep.
So I hope that doesn't come off like too asshole-ish to be like, hey, I'm really sorry you can't like park for free. Like there is street parking. But that's one thing that we thought about when you guys talk about the location and Cobra being across the street. Like if you guys wanted to say start your night here and walk there and go hard, it's so possible. It's so easy.
Well, there's a lot near them.
Yeah,
too.
go park in the SureSafe parking lot. Who cares?
Man, you gotta be careful with that because they watch that sometimes.
Do they?
Oh yeah.
Every once in a while,
Yeah.
Speaking of location, Adam, I think it's interesting to say that, and tell me if I'm wrong, but aside from Church Brew, which is like kind of in your area, you guys are only the brewery in that area. And so, obviously Greg and I have started to do the brew tours for this, and we made a record of where they are located. You guys do have a nice situation where it's you are the brewery in that area, and so if you go to that area, there's obviously Church Brew Works, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else like very nearby. But
it's down on Penn, or it's on Liberty, a little bit. It's past the 40th Street Bridge. Adam, what is it called? Smoke and Brews.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So they're actually just around the corner.
Right.
Those guys do everything. They do cigars, beer, food, and spirits, right?
way.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Party
wow.
central.
I've driven past it before. It's very kind of hidden. You wouldn't even like think about it.
Yeah.
I forgot about those guys. Yeah. So like they're down there, but honestly, it's funny because so right now, if you look present day Allegheny County, I think there are 41 breweries in this county. And if you were to approach it from the perspective of like, can I hit 2 or 3 safely in like one tour route?
Yeah.
So the Pittsburgh Brewers Guild is building these different like routes: east side, west side, south side, Allegheny Riverside. The route that they put Trace on is called like the City Loop, and it's like us, Cinderlands, 11th Hour, Roundabout, Church Brew Works.
Yeah.
They kind of like put us in this grouping, which is totally cool,
Your
dude.
people.
Well, that's an amazing. I mean, honestly, Adam, though, that is a very like 11th Hour. I consider one of my favorite breweries in the city. We're very good friends with Nick Faust on the show, in Cinderlands, and I believe that they just have continuously pushed the barrier of what Pittsburgh craft beer should be.
It's absurd.
So to be, and I do not want to diminish anything you guys have done, but to be in those names of categories in the city beer tour-esque thing already is wonderful, but to be backed by
too.
amazing beer, amazing cans. I mean, we had somebody comment on the post today that your guys' cans were amazing, and all the comments coming in is that your guys' cans are amazing. I mean, every step you guys have taken up to this point, and I know that you said you've only been there for a week, but I formally believe that your vision was driven into this brand based on our previous conversation. Every step you guys have taken has been exactly what Pittsburgh craft brew is.
Yeah, dude, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's an honor to be in the same conversation as guys like Cinderlands and 11th Hour. And I mean, gosh, Church Brew has been there since 1991, like forever. So like, yeah, it's exciting for sure. I think that, I think as folks kind of find their way in this like COVID and post-COVID realm, they'll have their spots. But to go back to your original question about, is there anyone near us?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, there's a brewery opening right by us that you guys can totally add to your slot, add to your show, and to your forecasting.
Is it the one in Garfield?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
Two Phrase. Have you heard of Two Phrase?
I told Greg you guys would be best friends, Adam. I just want to throw that out there, buddy.
I follow along like a lot of like the openings and stuff, so like that's kind of how I knew there was a Garfield one opening soon. So like I knew there was one. I can't remember the name though.
Yeah, if you were to go by sheer like Google Maps proximity, like the closest brewery to Trace besides Church Brew Works, which is behind me, on Liberty, will eventually be probably in a couple of months. Two Phrase, and there are actually two Phrase because they're a husband and wife team. Mike and I forget his wife's name, but they are located in Garfield, right next door to Spack Brothers on Penn Avenue.
Oh, that's
And
dangerous.
That's a bad move. That's a bad move.
Dangerous.
Fuck.
I know.
I'm gonna
What a-
lose so much money. So
I
much
know.
money.
I'm gonna lose this like svelte figure. Like I'm
Yeah.
still like skinny, but like, yeah, dude. So they're opening up there, and we've openly told our guests like keep an eye out for them. You know, we're excited for our guests to like have a beer there, have a beer here. You know, enjoy both spaces because they're right on Penn, and they're opening here like pretty much in the next couple of months. They will be the closest actual brewery to Trace.
I'm pumped for a brewery to open in Bloomfield. Like, there's so many great restaurants in Bloomfield, and sometimes,
Yeah.
like, after you're done eating, you're not ready for the party to be over. And you're like, oh, yeah, let's go to a brewery. And then you're like, oh, man, closest brewery's, like, at least in Lawrenceville. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if not further.
or unless you want to walk down Liberty Ave to Church Brew, and even then, that's
But
still
then
a
that's
hike.
even hard to get in.
Yeah.
There's no beer. You can't sit outside. Like, I'm just thinking about the number of times on a Friday night I text my mom, you need a beer? And then we're just trashed, and we're just there the whole night. Like, we're going to Trace.
Yeah,
Because you could just roll me down the hill from that point.
literally.
Right.
Just
Totally.
make sure you
Yeah,
avoid
no.
that massive four-way intersection. Just saying.
They know
Yeah.
me. They'll stop.
Yeah, no, I mean, please, I'm stoked to have you guys and to have guests come in that are just like stuck in traffic or on their way somewhere. We've had a lot of
Yeah.
folks actually, dude, it's funny. Like, so we're close to Children's Hospital. They're
Yeah.
like a couple blocks
Oh.
away.
There's some parents that need a drink.
Dude,
If
they
there
have
ever
been,
were.
Yeah.
they actually, so the folks who drive to work there do end up parking kind of in Bloomfield
Yeah.
proper, which is more up this way. They'll walk by us, peek in the windows, like, oh shit, like they're not open yet. They're not open yet. Well, now we're open. And so they've been coming in and like talking to us like, hey, like, can we like have a beer? Like, soon. It's like to go only for now. But we're stoked because like those guys, they go to work there and they work fucking like shift times, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And they're stoked to have a place to go for a happy hour drink and then like make their commute out. And we're just a couple blocks from the hospital.
Well, and you brought up a really, really interesting point, I thought, Adam, which is that, you guys have the added coffee aspect there, and you said it's
Which
very
is brilliant.
Well, and you said it's very
Showing it off right
European.
there too. Yeah.
But I want to add that Greg and I in our brewery tours, just obviously we've only done 2 days, but we've done 10 breweries up to this point for video. And it's funny to see some of the breweries that have like full families in them, because if you think about like in England or if you think about anywhere in Scandinavia, the pub is not some place to go get trashed. It's a place that you go with your family and you see family friends and the kids play and all that type of stuff. And not saying that that's exactly where you're leading, but the fact that you guys understand that concepting and the fact that you guys have, hey, you want a coffee, you want this, but we also have beer, it I think is exactly where the beer industry is going. So the fact that you guys are this self-aware at the very base of your start, I think is a beautiful place to be.
Man, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. It's something that I asked you guys earlier when you guys came in. I was like, can you name another spot that does coffee and beer on site? And people have talked about like De Fair in the Strip
Yeah.
District, dope coffee shop, amazing cocktail program,
Yeah.
has craft beer. It isn't a brewery, but they are an awesome space for like
Right.
multiple uses.
Yeah.
We're hoping
Closest thing I can think of is like Hitchhiker when they try to do their one downtown, but even then that's on hold with COVID. So
That's on hold with COVID. And we love Gary. I live 6 blocks from Hitchhiker in Sharpsburg, and like
Yeah.
I'm stoked for them to open a half coffee, half beer concept, also in a great location on Liberty Ave downtown. But yeah, man, we're stoked to kind of be the first. And like that was part of also what drew me in, because I love espresso and I love like that thought of having the chance to serve someone a coffee or a beer, whatever they kind of prefer. And our goal, I mean, we're not there yet, but our goal is to do both every hour we're open. So if you come and it's like 9 p.m. and you're like, man, I'm kind of dragging, I need a coffee to keep me going.
Quick
We are
espresso shot.
happy, dude. Boom. We're happy to give you a spro and send you on your way to Cobra or Tina's or anywhere you're headed for the rest of your night. So
Tina's. That's where I end up.
While Josh cries himself to sleep, I do want to add that Natty says, I hope that I'm some way as passionate as anything in my life as Adam is with his beer brand, so that resonates with our crowd. But he also asks, so Natty lives in D.C., and he says, does Adam do delivery out of state? So talk a little bit about where we can pick your beer up. Is it better to come into Trace? Give the people a heads up of how to get your beer, Adam.
Yeah, that's the other thing is we're so new and we're so small that our distribution footprint is so small. So yeah, the best way, Derek said, is to come in during carry out hours and grab a 4-pack to go. Without a doubt, the easiest way. If you are in Pittsburgh, but in the suburbs, we do have limited distribution through Steel City Distributor to Giant Eagle and Robinson, Giant Eagle and Shadyside. We're at like a few different beer distributors and stores. The thing is, when Steel City picks up our beer, they'll pick up like 40, 50, 60 cases and then distro it out. We don't know where it goes from there.
Oh, wow.
So the best way to know is to just follow Steel City Beer. So Steel City Beer is a distributor that we work with.
That's Shane, right?
That's Shane, exactly.
Yeah. Good friend. I've spoke to him through Cody a ton of times, and him and I have had good discussions. He does beer reviews once a week on his Instagram, and the man knows exactly what he's doing. He's great. But that's why I just wanted to connect to him, because I was like, I feel like that's Shane's, and I couldn't remember the exact.
I feel like.
But he's an amazing guy.
I feel like we need to have Adam and our beer plug, Ryan, meet. Because the Whole Food in Wexford, I'm sure, would love to have Trace
You trying to get into
Brewing.
Whole Foods, right? Or Adam? With Rye.
Sure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
If they're down to put us on the shelf, we're down to get it
he's
out.
down.
So he was a
down.
part of our wrestling league, a very good friend of Josh's and a very good friend of the show, and he's the purchasing manager at the Wexford Whole Foods. So after the show, I'll text you. We'll
set
sure
an introduction
that happens
up.
in some way, shape, or form.
And he lives like very close to Trace, actually, so it's kind of perfect.
Walking distance to Trace.
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing Ryan quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
His
that's
partner,
awesome.
Kaylee.
Yeah, no, I'm totally down for that. But I just feel bad because to Derek's original question is, can we get this beer to DC? The short answer right now is no, because we have no out-of-state distribution. We can't even really get it to Philly. I mean, it's just such a local neighborhood spot. Until we're like really cranking and like getting stuff out there. Our whole focus has been just to get through COVID and open, so we can have guests have a beer on site. So the only way to really get beer out to outside the area would be to physically go to the post office and mail it to you, which I'm down to like do folks a favor. I know that I'm from Akron, Ohio, and I've mailed some friends and some homies some Trace beer because they want to try it because they see like me repping the brand.
Right.
But that's just because like they're hometown friends, you know, like we don't have any kind of relationship with those distributors quite yet.
Yeah. And I think that's I will say that I pitched you in the early hour of the show to be from the Ohio area, so our Cleveland fans, shout out to Bueno, would feel a little more comforted there, Adam. I do have to ask, though, Adam, it was funny because, like, Bueno asked in the chat, and I don't know, Adam, if I've ever once in my life spoke to you about sports. Do you have an affiliate? Are you a Browns fan?
Yeah, I am. So I went to college on an athletics scholarship. I ran D1 cross country at OU. So I ran cross country and track all through. Yeah, great film school, great like photography program, like all that shit is like amazing there. I went to school for journalism, but yeah, man. I mean, definitely grew up kind of like what Derek said. Browns, Cavs, and Indians was our jam. I mean, growing up in Canton, we're obviously associated with the Hall of Fame because the Football Hall of Fame is there.
Yep.
And the Football Hall of Fame, that field was my high school's home
No
field.
way.
So the Hall of
Greg
Fame
took me there for the first time ever.
Wow.
Yeah, we played there every Friday. And now obviously in 2007. So I graduated high school in 05. I'm 34. So when I finished high school, we had a relationship with Fawcett Stadium to play our home games in downtown Canton. In 2007, we got our own stadium. So we no longer play at the Hall of Fame field. We now play
Aw,
at our
that
high
sucks.
school. But yeah, it was
it's
pretty
good for the school, but it
I
sucks.
know,
because
but
it's cool
still,
to play at the Hall of Fame.
that's pretty cool
field.
to say.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you played where the Hall of Fame is.
Adam, so we are now going to get into what Greg and I prepped you for a little bit. We are going to do our top 5 favorite beers. Now, I will tell you, Adam, I know we said it previously, excuse me. I have beers out of state, and I also have some local beers.
Yeah.
So feel free to finagle, do whatever you want to do in terms of what beer you're going
You
with.
can be as outlandish as you possibly want. You can have stuff that we might have never even heard of if you want to.
And
but-
Adam, I'm going full local.
word.
Only
Okay.
local.
No repeats, and it's going to go Greg, Josh, me, then you, Adam.
Right.
It was just based on a random generizer, and I'm
Right.
going to get another Trace beer.
Go for it.
All right, please do.
Greg.
All right, I am starting off my first pick with my ride or die, my one true
Guinness.
love. Yes. Thank you for spoiling that. Jeez. You couldn't let me like play it up or anything like that. Come on, dude.
No.
You are rude on so many parts. By
Well,
the way.
you know, I'm drinking, you're not. That's
Yeah,
kinda
clearly.
what
I don't know if
happens.
there's a beer that Greg affiliates
Jerk.
more with than Guinness, Adam, just to give you a heads up.
Guinness is
Wow.
like my just one true love. It's perfect to me with regards to a beer. It's what I think of when I drink a beer, and I love the fact too that there's less alcohol in it than a Bud Light. That's just a fact I can never get over.
Yeah, dude, you could drink like 10 of them and be good to go.
Oh,
Here's-
I've had like maybe 5 at one point too. So yeah, it's a downhill spiral. From
Here's
there.
one.
I have to say this, Josh. That is not how you spell Guinness.
Yeah, it is. I
That is-
Googled it.
that
Put
is genius.
But I Googled it.
But that is the word genius.
look.
You said genius beer.
Guinness is right there.
Aw.
It's okay,
It's
buddy.
okay. It's okay, buddy.
Adam, Josh has
I was lied
a
to.
big issue with spelling, and it's not his fault. I blame his upbringing. I
All
blame his
good.
wife.
Yeah.
I blame Anastasia.
blame my wife too.
But Josh, you have a pick for your first
Yeah,
overall.
So, Greg picked. Ooh.
Oh, wrong one.
Greg, you're back on.
Wrong guy.
No,
Wrong.
sorry,
season.
guys.
Wrong side.
All
There
right.
we go.
Okay, so hang on. It's difficult to do all these things at once. All right, so Greg picked a beer that you can drink a lot of. I picked a beer that I insistently drink a lot of and I shouldn't. Give me the fucking pumpkin.
He has a pumpkin tattoo, Adam. Just so you know.
Oh my God! Wow, you really love it.
Oh, dude.
We
this
had
is-
Adam. We did the great pumpkin beer search, and it did fall off to my own demise. But Josh brought in a giant pumpkin blow up, like
Yeah.
giant, to
Yeah.
the studio. It was amazing.
I have.
Yo,
th-
that is some like very like loyal love.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
dig
yeah.
that for
That's
sure.
brand loyalty.
Trust
right
me,
there.
buddy. It's coming your way. So just buckle up.
Well, the running joke has always been that I've known Josh since his pumpkin tattoo was orange.
yeah.
Because
it's not
it's-
orange anymore.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about you guys.
I
Oh
know,
my
Oh,
God.
you're
right?
joining
Yeah.
it, buddy. You didn't know that this was an interview. You're now a part of Thoughts on the Bench,
Yeah.
friend of the
Yeah.
show history. You're
Yeah.
a part of it. You're there.
Yeah.
You
You're
are the first reoccurring guest.
Yeah, and plus he's
Wow.
drinking, so he's just already fitting in perfectly.
Right.
It's either him. No, I think it's Mars.
Yeah, I feel like
Has
you guys
Mars
have had
been on
Mars.
twice?
I think I've
Oh,
had
yeah,
Mars
Mars been on
Jackson
twice.
Oh,
on
because he
twice.
was on
which,
the
Adam,
first
you know Mars.
episode. He was on
Yeah.
the first episode. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry,
Very,
Mars.
and it's not. I mean, Mars hasn't been back on. I got to bring Mars back on. But Adam, you know Mars.
He's
and he was our-
slacking.
I think he was our first. So I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. And Adam, this is I think the beer that I've spoke about the most in my entire life. It is called a 2-pepper beer from Lucky Envelope in Seattle. The 2 peppers, Adam, were shishito and jalapeno. I love shishito pepper pale ales and shishito pepper any type of beers, but the jalapeno added a kick to it. I was very drunk when I drank it, but it was one of the beers enough that I bought a sticker, put it on my laptop so I would remember it because I had my laptop with me. The 2-pepper beer from Lucky Envelope was something I'll speak about to my grandkids.
Wow, word. Also, was it spicy? Like, did you feel it in your throat?
So
was it
it
spicy?
was funny because the shishito pepper in a beer is a weird feeling because you just taste the pepper. There was a heat kick at the end.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is great. I can take another sip. And when you went for that second sip, the heat kicked in heavy. So it was with seeds and everything. And I asked the guy, and like, obviously, the cool thing about it to me was that each batch had a different level of heat, which was something that was so unique. They were a super small spot in Seattle.
I was gonna say, was it as overpowering as like a habanero sculpin?
No, so it was the habanero sculpin was much heavier.
Yeah.
This heat was enough that I was super happy about it.
Mhm.
There was some heat to it, but I love shishito peppers, and the fact that those two together in a beer added the flavor, the heat. Big fan.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. This is so helpful for me to hear the stuff that you guys reach for and you love. I feel like I'm doing like market research just so I can like
If you
feed it back to
if
these
you
guys.
come out with a pumpkin beer, you're gonna have to turn me away. I'll just have my head underneath the keg.
October is our best month. So if you
Yeah.
come out with a pumpkin beer, Adam, we're
Yeah.
your show, buddy.
Dude, that's my birthday is October 6th, which is like
Let's
peak
go!
pumpkin season. So I'm
What's
stoked
is that?
to be
Is that
back
a
on for
Thursday?
that.
We'll see you on October 5th. Yeah.
Live show, but it's
Um,
just us on a cell phone hammered.
just to give you heads up, Adam, you're on for 2. We do
Yep.
serpentine in these drafts, so you're up for 2, buddy.
Wait. So do I go now? Is that?
Yeah, you're up, buddy.
You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. So I was gonna start by shouting out. So like this is one that everyone on this show has had, I think, that I love, but I never got to have it till I moved to Pittsburgh, and that's the regular ass Iron City Lager.
I was not expecting that.
Let's go!
Dude, like I have so much love for it. In 2017, when I was working the beer tour and I met Derek for the first time, we would obviously do a lot of like drinking just to like drink, but also to like get to know these beers to talk about them. And we did a blind taste test. We lined up like 4 or 5 cups, and it was Miller Lite,
Fuck you.
Coors Light,
Yeah.
Bud, and Iron City. And we tasted them all. And our guy, Andy, was like, all right, now tell me which is which. And I was the only person who got all 4
No
right
way.
in a blind
Wow.
taste test.
That's
And the
impressive.
reason, thank you. The reason why was because I love Iron City. It has a bit of a sweet aftertaste.
Yeah.
It's like really like has a nice like crisp finish. It's something that you cannot buy in my hometown.
Yep.
So I'm just gonna start by saying I guess if I'm
it's
doing
so
5,
good.
like Iron City for 1, and then I guess so I'm doing 2.
Yeah, just 2, buddy. Just 2.
Yeah.
You got
Cool.
one more.
Hell yeah. So the second one I'll shout out is definitely kind of more on the hipster realm, but like I live in Sharpsburg, and a big reason why I moved to Sharpsburg was I'm a big fan of what we're doing in terms of beer in Sharpsburg. And we have 2 breweries. We have Dancing Gnome and Hitchhiker are both in Sharpsburg. And Dancing Gnome has a pale ale that I love. You guys might have tried. It's called Lustra.
Yep.
And the Lustra is their house pale. And the Lustra has been one of my favorite beers. If you guys were to open up my PNC checking account and be like, where does Adam spend the most of his money? You'd be like, holy shit, Adam is spending all his money
Well, and that was
buying
one of the
Lustra.
ones you took us to
Yeah.
Dancing Gnome, and it just kill it, man. It's so good, and the Lustra's so delicious.
I also saw too that Dancing Gnome is opening a bigger location soon as well, which is big for them because even though
I
they're
told you, Adam. He
there's-
knows his stuff,
their,
man.
their
I
st-
told you.
their storefront
He
is
knows.
really cool and all, but like they need more space in the worst way.
Yeah. I mean, their staff is always like, if you ask their staff, well, what's the number one stress point? Their walk-in cooler is so tight and full from all the beer. I mean, they sell through it, but it's just so hard to maneuver in there. They just needed more space. So they're going up. I think they're going to be able to brew 5 times more beer in their new space and have hella more storage, hella bigger tap room and all that. But yeah, I would say the Dancing Gnome Lustra is a beer that deserves credit as being one of those like pioneering, like craft beer, hip, kind of hazy, like trendy beers that really got me thinking like, damn, like if this is what beer can be, like this is pretty special. So I'm going to shout out those 2, Iron City Lager and the Dancing Gnome Lustra.
Before we get to you, Derek, I'm gonna fight Dat Birdman in a parking lot for charity
Which,
over
Natty,
Icy
that's
Light.
Matt Christopher from Slippery Rock. Just so you guys know who's
Just so you
who's
two
who.
like get along.
They
Also,
are friends, they
Natty,
just don't
I
know
will
each other.
fight you over the spelling bee comment too. Okay, so
never
fuck you both.
never had the lager. How could you never have the lager?
Well, a lot of people
Like,
just have
come on.
Icy Light.
Icy
I
Light,
mean,
son,
true.
or Icy Light Mango if you're my grandmother who kills
So-
cases of it at a time.
That is delicious.
I'll
I'll give you that.
I think I'm gonna stick true to the Pittsburgh realm of it too, because
Let's go,
I
baby.
was gonna go. Yeah, it's the one. You can just write it in. It's. I was gonna go with the couple breweries that I've been to that you guys
okay,
haven't
okay,
been
okay.
to. But Josh brought up a really good point. It's the beer that I've planted my flag in. It's Good Vibes from Voodoo.
Gotta love it, man.
Voodoo is right down from Homestead, and obvious. Quick preview. Next week is which Adam, have you ever heard the name Tom Ness from Voodoo?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
He's our guest next week for can
awesome.
development. It was just, you know what, I see them posting it all the time, and I think that Voodoo Brewery has some of the most uniquely designed cans, and it's a conversation that Greg and I have had, which is that if I hold 2 cans from Trace, you can tell they're the same because of literally what you're showing and what I'm showing right now. You can tell like
Yeah.
there's a correlation
I have
between
the
all of
same
them,
thing you
right?
have now.
Yeah.
Voodoo, it's funny to me because all of their cans have very exact art on them, but they're all of the same artist. And I think that is one of the coolest things on the planet. So Tom is the guy developing the cans.
Makes me
so
think of Flying Dog.
yeah, very much so with the Raging
was-
Bitch IPA and all those types of things.
I was
yeah.
gonna say it makes me think more of Collective Arts than it does anything else.
Collective
There you
Arts
go,
is
too.
another one,
Yeah.
but it's
Another
funny.
good one, yeah.
It's funny, Adam, to think like all the breweries because you know an Icy Light or an Icy Heavy can or an Icy Light like it. That's why I really always connected with Voodoo. Is one, they're in Homestead and I live in Greenfield, but two, the cans have the same tone to them all. But the Good Vibes, I would say, is probably my favorite hazy to date.
Yeah, it's super iconic. And the fact that these folks work with the same people for so long, you guys, even as just casual beer drinkers, recognize and can identify like, oh shit, like that looks like what
Yeah.
Voodoo has kind of created. We obviously have our triangle vibe going with our artists, but Voodoo definitely has a tone and a vibe.
It's very Day of the Dead, and I love
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
adore it.
I also think Voodoo's been around for so long now that I think that they can afford to kind of do
Yeah.
that, where they can have that creative freedom to do what they want.
For sure.
Yeah.
Also, Meadville Brewery was where
Well,
it
that's their-
started.
yeah,
that's
so,
their
yeah.
main one. Yeah.
Shout out Mike Nicolazzo.
Yeah.
I'm on a
All right, Josh.
podcast.
I love it. I love it.
Oh shit.
Josh, you're up, brother.
Okay, well, first off, Matt Christopher, I'll meet you in the Sure Safe parking lot, and then we can head on over to Trace after we beat the crap out of each other. All right, I gotta stay with not that Pumpkin's a dark beer, but this is the
It's
beer.
heavier.
It's heavier.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the beer that the second I tried it, I hugged the guy that made it. Mischievous Brown Ale by Helltown.
Ooh.
Helltown.
Okay.
That's another. I mean, we're talking about can design and development. I think Helltown is genius, Adam, because it's the same exact can with just the name of the beer changed.
Well,
Yeah,
and
talk
then
about
the,
consistency. Yeah.
the
for sure.
color of the ring changes.
Oh.
Didn't know that.
Yeah,
at all.
I was gonna say I do not remember that because
I-
we bought a variety pack and I
Well,
do
in,
not remember
The
the
color
color.
of
Nico,
the ring
so
changes.
1700 is where Nico works, and they are the
Yeah.
Helltown and the Strip District
Right.
distributor. But I never knew that. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
dude. Also, like, clearly they were 90s hockey fans because that's just the Devils logo.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
the New Jersey Devils
Makes
logo
sense, makes
on
sense.
a beer. They made a brown ale.
Yep.
And then I was really lucky because I was on, Adam, do you remember the PA Brew Tours?
I do. Absolutely. Yeah. What a throwback. Yeah.
So we were on a PA Brew Tour and, like, they had taken us to 2 other spots before
I
that,
love
then
No Dad.
dumped us out there.
Love you, Chipper.
And they just kept filling up those cups. And I just was like, I love you guys. Like, I'm ride or die now for life
I'm gonna use
with
the restroom real quick.
with Helltown from now on. So, like, if there's Mischievous Brown Ale on the menu, give me one of them.
Love it.
So, Greg,
Yeah.
you are up for 2.
All right, so for me, I'm starting off with my first one is the first Pittsburgh craft brewery I ever went to.
Ooh, okay.
Is also the place that gave me my love for all things coffee beer. I'm
Uh-oh.
Adam. I'm a coffee beer freak.
Yes.
So it is going to be Hop Farm Fresh Pot of Porter.
So good, dude.
I
the,
love that beer.
the collaboration with La Prima. Yeah.
And the coolest thing that I remember, it was I think 2 years ago. I went to their brewery as well. They had it on Nitro, and that was like game changer for me. when I tried that.
Greg would suck down nitro till he dies.
I probably would. There's a very, very reasonable chance that happens. But Fresh Pot of Porter, when I tried that for the first time, and my mind like started to connect the dots, where it was like, oh my god, this is coffee and beer.
Yeah.
What is this? This is amazing. And it's also like, and you can try really hard to come up with really good porters, but for some reason, whatever they're trying to make it, it can kind of be overwhelmed, and you don't really get what they're trying to go for. Fresh Pot of Porter, it hits you right in the feels, because like I got coffee almost immediately when I drank that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, dude, I'm so happy to hear that you got to try it on Nitro because you got
Oh,
those nice
amazing.
tight bubbles. It wasn't on CO2, it was on Nitro.
Yeah.
So you got that creamy, smooth head. Like, dude, I'm so happy to hear that you got to try that version of it. That's so dope.
It was like 2 years ago, so like I don't even the way you're making it sound like they don't do it anymore, which kind of breaks my heart. But I'm very happy that I got to try it now, knowing after the fact.
Yeah, dude, it's totally. I don't want to say it's seasonal because it's kind of more like whenever they feel like putting it on nitro. But the fact that you had it on the nitro line, like you had a
That was
fucking
good.
awesome beer, man.
Yeah.
And if you like coffee beers, that might be that and the Brew Gentleman one might be the two best coffee beers in the city.
I have never had the Brew Gentleman one, actually.
It's very good.
Yeah, so I definitely need to give that a look. This next one. This one is my favorite IPA in the entire world. It is from Chicago.
Let's go.
It is
Let's go.
It is Anti-Hero IPA from Revolution Brewing. To me, I love IPAs. I love getting that just hoppy taste going on where it can almost bite you. Like Southern Tier 2X IPA is one of it just like when I first tried that, it like hit me right in the feels. Anti-Hero is the perfect IPA in my opinion because you get the bite, but it goes down smooth. It goes down kind of like, this is going to sound really weird, but it's almost like if Yingling was an IPA. This is what this was to me. And I love this beer.
Now talk about the pilgrimage. Talk
The
about the best
pilgrimage.
friends ship. Talk
So-
about it.
All right, calm down, Jesus. So Josh and I were in Chicago 3 years ago for a wrestling show. We started off going to.
I wasn't invited, Adam.
No, you were not. The tickets were very hard.
We
to
only
get
got 2 tickets.
We only got 2 tickets. They were very
We
hard.
wanted more.
Don't
we
even
only
care about
got
wrestling.
2.
I
So-
just felt weird.
Yeah.
So the first stop
I know,
we went
I know.
to.
We'll go next year, Adam.
The first stop we
You and
went
I.
to was this T-shirt store called Pro Wrestling Tees, where Josh's favorite wrestler of all time, CM Punk, was doing autographs.
Okay.
And after the signing, we
Not a
were
big deal.
we were looking around to see what breweries were available, like in walking distance, and I saw. And I saw Revolution had a tap house there, and I'm like, oh my God, we have to go. So we walked about 20 minutes, like down a busy highway in the middle of I don't want to say like kind of like mid Chicago, I guess I can't
Yeah.
remember what neighborhood. Yeah, we're just walking down there. It's hot as hell. This is Labor Day weekend, and I plopped down in Revolution Brewing. I drank I think maybe 3 of them, and I was beyond drunk afterwards, just from how excited I was. I was also dehydrated, which probably added to it as well.
We had a great day.
Well, I'm happy.
Had a great day.
So, my pick is a Pittsburgh staple in the brewery industry. East End Brewing has been one of the first.
yeah.
They're a goat. They are. What?
Is it the?
No. No.
Ooh.
Is it the-
Yeah,
is it
you would
the-
think. No, you would
No.
think. You would think. Well, go ahead and say
I
what.
guessed Big Hop, Adam.
Right.
I guess Monkey Boy.
And you guess Monkey Boy because they're advocates of the bicycle community, which I'm instilled in, and I love them deeply. No, my pick from them though comes from their neighborhood series that they released last year.
Oh,
yeah.
Give me the Bon Air.
Wow.
Their neighborhood series was great.
That was absolute. Like all the beers from the neighborhood series were fucking incredible, but the Bon Air we sipped on all summer long,
When
and
they-
that just never got old.
I kind of can't wait for them to release the Greenfield just because I need to try it.
I'm ready for the Lawrenceville too. Like I need my city. Like I need my town now. I
do
need
too.
mine. But like the Bon Air was A+. So, Deke, you're up.
I'm gonna go with it's one of the ones. It's actually, fun fact, the brewery that is going to be Adam our brewery review for this weekend. Which, Josh, if you grab one, I could take one too, brother. It's the brewery that we are one of the IPAs. It's one of the breweries that we covered in ours. It is Abjuration, Adam. Which are you familiar with them? I'm assuming yes.
They're stellar. Yeah, I love them.
Yep.
Which was it's super cool for anybody that watches the beer reviews, or the brewery reviews. We're doing a good job of. I did have that one. If I have the other one, that'd be great. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, by the way, on this video is the one where I said I had probably the best dessert beer I've ever had in my life.
But honestly, Adam, I think it is one of the greatest beers I've ever had.
What was it?
Their pineapple sage sour from Abjuration. I bought a 4-pack of cans. I brought it into the studio, and we tried it 2 weeks ago. You know what, Adam? It was weird to me, man, because they had pineapple pulp in the beer.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And I don't know, is pulp's traditionally not in, like, I'm not crazy
No.
to say that, right, Adam?
No, it's to get all the
good,
way
man.
into your beer. Yeah, they did some work to get it through the whole like filtration process, no doubt, for sure.
Yeah, it was the sage thing was weird to me. I'm a sucker, Adam, for pineapple beers.
You're a sucker for pineapple.
Yeah, I'm a big Hawaii guy.
Yeah.
Like, it just is what it is.
It works
Yeah.
so well too, which is crazy.
Yeah. So the pineapple sage sour at Abjuration was amazing. That's my third pick. But Adam, you're up again for 2, buddy.
All right, cool. For two. Well, those are all awesome picks. I also love that we got a shout out to Revolution in Chicago because I have had that beer.
Have you? Oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of random. I was in Chicago for a funeral, so like sad circumstance. But after the funeral, we had some beers, and I did have that, and I'm so happy that we got like this weird Midwest Chicago shout out tonight on the show. Uh, and yes, Derek, I have been to Abjuration several times. They fucking rock. The two guys who own it are
such
just
a cool fucking brewery.
oh my god! And talk about like a labor of love and like a bootstrapped labor of love. Like they just qualified for this special loan to scale up their brewery.
No
so
way.
Oh, the honeycomb loan. Yeah.
exactly, they got the honeycomb loan, so they're gonna be able to make more beer.
Adam, he's normally not this well versed in conversation,
I
and
read-
I'm just flabbergasted in the ability for him to just be this great at
I
everything.
read. I'm
and it's
sorry.
amazing. No,
Jeez.
I read.
Oh, reading.
Oh,
Is that
man.
the secret?
So the honeycomb thing, but I
Motherfucker.
will say that the nice thing about Abjuration, Adam, is that we went there and like Greg and I sat down and I said to the guy, you know, in a way that I tried my best, I was basically like, hey, you know, sage is a big like meh for beer for me, like, but I like pineapple. Is the Abjuration good? And he said, these are my children. They are
He
all
did.
good. And I said, that's a fucking great answer. Give me the pineapple sage, and it was the best decision of my life. But like, that's the appropriate answer. These are my kids. I make the beer. They're all
Yeah.
great.
It sounds like you talked to Tom. Was he a heavier set big guy?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Actually, so Drunken Greg actually opened up their beer fridge that says "Do not open" on the front. So him and Greg had a
My
couple
bad.
words. It was amazing.
Yeah, the Abjuration is two guys, Tom and Dave. Tom, super talkative, outgoing, super friendly, will
So
say, these beers are my kids. And then Dave, who is super thoughtful, but a little bit more introverted and like just focused on making the best beer he can. I love that Tom said, these are my kids.
Yep.
Because that is so him. And I love that you guys visited. But I do have, all right, so for my two, I'll start with one. So earlier today when you guys came to Trace and I showed you guys the Cool Ship room, the other brewery in Pittsburgh doing Cool Ship beers actively is Strange Roots in Millvale. And Strange Roots has a beer they do pretty much all year round, and it is called the Godenacht. And Godenacht is, I think, German for good night. And it's just this funky, spontaneously fermented, sour, wild beer that they do in bottles. And so I got a shout out to Godenacht. I believe it's 9.4% ABV. It's a
Damn.
strong.
Do you have any clue how they spell Gotenok?
Thank you, Derek.
Josh is
Yeah.
googling it right now to try to put it as your answer, and he has no clue, Adam.
Yeah, totally. So I'm pretty sure it's Goedenacht. Godenacht.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
I think if I
That sounds like all satanic, and I'm here for it.
He spelled
Oh.
goat and knock as in like GOATENKNOCK, which is exactly how the fuck I would have done it, Josh.
Strange Roots also
No E in that one, buddy.
has
At the front.
Okay, I'm getting there. Hang on.
You're
you
just
threw
deleting
me
a
off.
lot of things.
Strange Roots also Streets on Carson. They host their food truck all the time.
Yes, 100%.
And best cheesesteak in the city.
Sorry,
So
I'm
we
laughing
need to
at Chip's comments that spell
Oh.
that one, Josh.
Yeah,
Which
right.
you-
Oh, man,
Yeah,
that
Adam, we
would've
have a,
been rough. That
Adam,
would've been rough.
basically we have a giant issue of Josh spelling things, but it's also that like in Josh's defense, he's the one that puts everything that people see on the screen up.
Yeah.
So like there are times where Josh can't spell boat, but there's also times where people put like brontosaurus and
Okay.
assume that spell it, Josh, while they're googling at home. So there's it's kind of a mixed bag.
No, but
That's awesome.
so I love Strange Roots. I think I've had that beer actually, but yeah, great. Love Strange Roots. Love what they've turned into because they were not originally Strange Roots. They had a metamorphosis.
Yeah, they were dry log, weren't they?
Right, and
Yeah.
came out
Oh.
better on the back end, I think.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah.
What is your? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, they're absolutely right. Like Strange Roots did have a rebrand. I think it was in 2018. They were dry log, and the owner Dennis was like, "Yo, we're gonna do more than just these like sour beers. So we're gonna change our name and change our vibe to do the more like I don't know conventional styles." But yeah, I got to give a shout out to Godenacht, which I know is a weird shout out, but it's good night. I think it's German or Polish for good night.
Yeah.
And it will like put you to bed. It's a
And
great
wings.
beer.
You're right, boy.
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
so good. And then I guess so.
I
I
didn't
got to
try
do a second.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
a second one.
Cool. So for my second one, oh boy, I'm gonna go more. Let me think here. wanted to go. I love that we've had shout outs to stuff like Guinness and these bigger boys. So
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out one that if you guys were to go, and I know earlier you guys shouted out East End.
Yeah.
So like 3 years ago, I interviewed Scott, the owner of East End. And I
Yep.
was like, Scott, when you reach in your fridge, what do you like reach for?
Yeah.
What are you drinking? And he was like, dude, Adam, he's like, what I reach for is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Love that.
beer.
That was so cool to hear. So I'm going to shout out Sierra Nevada Pale Ale because like I've had it and I'm 34. I've been drinking for a few years and like I haven't ever thought about how that has impacted craft beer as an industry. But a lot of these brewers, when they started drinking craft beer,
Yep.
they were reaching for Blue Moon
Yep.
Yeah.
or Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or all these like
Dude,
craft beers.
Well,
Go
didn't
ahead.
they also do?
Name it.
Isn't it Little
'Cause
Red
they-
something?
Yes. No,
Yes.
no, no.
I think that
No,
was
that's
Lagunitas.
yes, that's Lagunitas.
Lagunitas. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's Lagunitas.
'Cause
Which
Sierra-
was
I-
no,
I-
you're
I
right though,
confused
because
the
that
two
was
out of
an
them
early.
Out the realm because Sierra Nevada. I mean, they're like at $6 even back in the day. We
Right.
sold Sierra Nevada, just their IPA and Pale Ale. But yeah, okay, Little Red something.
Yeah.
Lagunitas, correct.
It's same vibe, same
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah, it's like cracking into a beer from like 2008, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
No,
but
but
like
give it to me.
I like when I lived in Lawrenceville, I was about a block from Ham Bones, and Ham Bones,
Yep.
like RIP, like I miss those guys, but they had a tap handle dedicated to Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So if you were like, hey, I don't really want to like go through a whole entire beer list. I just want what I know what I want.
Yep.
You could just walk in and get Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So I guess those are my two: is Strange Roots,
Love
Go
it.
to Knock, and then going macro to Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to like. Go ahead.
You've changed my answer, Adam. Is what I'll say.
well,
I love that thought. Like I'm going with one through that same exact Sierra
okay,
Nevada Pale Ale
okay,
thought
okay,
process,
okay.
and that is the grapefruit sculpin
Yeah.
from
Ah,
Ballast Point.
Great
From Ballast
one.
Point. Yeah.
You talk about these, I have so many beers in my head that I want to talk about, but the grapefruit sculpin is in my mind.
I spelled sculpin right, Chip.
Bravo.
I've never caught one, but I spelled it right.
Bravo.
proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
But the grapefruit sculpin is one that I think is it's absolute, like the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is something that you reach for in your fridge. And there's a couple beers in my head that I would reach for, but the grapefruit sculpin, you don't need to like grapefruit. You don't need to like anything specific. It's it's the beer at the barbecue. It's the beer at dinner.
Yeah.
Like that is just the
Ah.
beer. So yeah,
Yeah.
you've changed my thought process on this draft. I wanted to get something that people can relate to. So
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
you're good, man. I honestly, I mean, all of what I'm telling you guys is credit back to these guys who actually brew beer, who drink a lot of beer, and who are like, you know what, man? Like, if you want me to be honest, I reach for this.
Yeah.
And when those guys tell me like they reach for Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and I think about like how often I've drank it without even thinking about it, and
Yep.
then they're like actually influenced by it to create the shit that we're drinking today.
Yep.
Like that's pretty cool. So yeah, I guess I'll shout those two out, but hopefully that makes sense. I just like
Oh, great picks.
I just want to give love to the people who came before us,
So
Swayed my opinion, buddy.
I'm up, and
Yep.
I'm getting all sorts of feels right now because
He's taking pumpkin again.
in 2013, my wife and I ran a Instagram account called His Her Beer.
Coasters
Yep,
are so
Adam
amazing.
remembers. Where we had two couples that tried a bunch of different craft beers, and Sierra Nevada was king shit among us. Like we just remember like saying so much about that beer. Like that was it, and that was our introduction to craft beer in large regards. I'm all about that. But I promised I'd stay local. I said I was gonna do 5 locals, and Boyd, our fucking favorite is still on the board. Give me Grist House double Hazadelic juice grenade.
Ah, classic.
So good.
Classic.
Grist House does, Adam, there's like certain breweries that really hit home, and since my birthday was at 11th Hour, I've always loved 11th Hour. We have connections on the show to Cinderlands. I love Cinderlands. But honestly, Grist House has always been that anomaly. Like, I went there and I pet over 30
It,
dogs.
it makes you
And it
feel.
just, I was at home,
It
Adam.
makes you feel so good when you're there, even when it's crowded on a busy
Yeah, it doesn't
Saturday
ma- it-
But
afternoon.
you're crowded with friends.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not.
so
You're not
great.
a weird like. Oh, it's crowded. I hate this bar. Like 11th Hour gets crowded, and you're like, oh, I hate this. Grist House gets crowded, and it's like you're a part of a family. They
Yeah.
actually legitimately built something over there.
Yeah. I mean, dude, Derek, like before COVID hit, I think if I think back, the
Yeah,
last time you and I
yeah.
had beers,
That
we
was
were
the
at
day.
Grist House.
I
You,
pet
me,
so many dogs.
Cody,
and you
Mars,
came up.
we were
Yes.
petting the dogs. Like Cody texted me, was like, "Hey, like I don't know if you're out today, but we're at Grist House. Rode my moped.
so
I
glad
was
you
there
came,
in
man.
6 minutes. Yeah, dude. Like you're right. They get busy, and it's like I'm sure the staff is like stressed because they're really busy.
Yeah.
But there's like umpteen dogs. All the beers are good. They do everything right, man. They're
Yeah.
so good.
Food
They're the
trucks, all to
best.
the galore.
And
Yep.
Justin Boyd says Grist is my favorite all time. Yeah. 11th hour pineapple ambrosia
Huh.
was a slapper.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
But yeah, I
Um,
mean Grist House is if
Such
you've
a good
never
name,
had a
buddy.
night like at Grist House where you had a dog in your lap, a dog at your side, and like 6 beers in you, you
met a
just
dog
weren't
named
doing it
Steven.
right. Steven!
He was curly as fuck, Adam. That
You know-
day, I met
you
a dog
know,
named Steven. Not
Steven the
Steve,
dog.
not Steve the dog. It was Steven.
You make sure you spell that out properly. Yeah.
Can we talk about one of my favorite Brody stories of all time real quick? So
We-
Penguins-
everything.
You are the producer. You own
Yeah,
it.
technically.
Penguins 2017
Oh.
playoff run. We're at the game 1 of the first round, and I'm sitting at the bar, and I have a Grist House, whatever their brown ale was at the time, in front of me, and I have Brody on my lap, and all of a sudden I start hearing, and I look down, and my dog has drank X number of my beer at this point.
Oh my
And
god.
that's
Brody's
when-
an alcoholic. We've
He
had,
is an
my
alcoholic.
we've
He
had several
really is.
interventions with this pug. Adam.
Yeah, it's but he love Grist House is Brody's spot. So yeah,
Love it.
gotta have.
No
a Grist
wonder
House
his
in there.
tongue's always out. He wants more beer.
He's just thirsty.
God damn.
Needs a beer.
Greg, you're up for your last 2, buddy.
All right. This first one is going to be a little bit of a throwback. It's near and dear to my heart because
Don't you dare.
it's probably not for that.
Okay.
But
It's not
this is
pumpkin.
no. So this is near and dear to my heart. I used to sneak this into my dorm in college.
don't you dare.
I know
Calm
it.
down.
I know it.
Jesus. Because I used to sneak this into
drank
my
it.
dorm in college because at the time I was able to afford it and I would have my brother get it for me.
Okay.
And this was something during the fall when I was able to finally get it. I was so happy.
Same Adam.
Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
I'm sorry, Greg, because you in college is very close to my last pick, so
Yeah.
I'm very concerned.
Well,
about
Yeah.
that.
I will say, Sam Adams, to me at least, and Adam, tell me if I'm wrong here. They do such a wonderful job of blending mass production with craft. Like to the
Yeah.
point where most craft breweries today are owned by Anheuser-Busch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Sam Adams does a wonderful job getting smaller beers very well known to their brand.
Yeah, yeah. I think that they are still family owned. Yeah, I think you're right, dude.
Mhm.
I don't think they've been bought out. They're not part of a conglomerate. Dude, like they have deep connections to Pittsburgh,
Wow.
that the site of where Penn Brewery is right now
Yeah.
in the north side
Yeah.
was where Sam Adams first contract brewed the recipe that is
What?
present day
I
Sam
didn't
Adams.
fucking know that.
That's why he's the beer god of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
understand why you're second guessing him, to be honest.
It's
I'm
a
not-
very-
there's no second guessing. I'm
I
like
know.
elated.
That's actually
Yeah.
super interesting. Adam.
That's
It's
awesome.
super interesting, dude. There are if you ever get a chance to go to Penn Brewery after COVID, ask the bartender if they'll let you in the actual brew house, and they're by the hot liquor tank. If you look up, there's a poster, and it's from like 1899, and it's those guys brewing that recipe in Pittsburgh, PA.
already did.
that
Adam, I
became-
wish
we
you would
already
have told
did.
us
We
this. We
already
were
did
there
Penn
last. We
Brewery
were there a
last
couple weekends ago.
Oh fuck! I didn't know that. Damn.
It's okay.
Yeah,
we
I-
don't really.
Did
We
you
haven't
sit-
made these like publicized things. We're
No,
just going
yeah.
Yeah.
to breweries.
Did you sit
Yeah.
in the lager cave?
We sat on
Yes.
just
Oh,
the main
yeah.
floor.
Oh, okay. So Penn Brewery, when they took over again, when they reclaimed the spot, they found barrels of lager inside of these caves that had been bricked over
Wow.
that they just thought was part of the wall, and then like a brick caved in. They're like, well, there's something back here, and they found these lagers that had been resting for over 100 years.
Did they sell 'em?
I don't know. Was
Oh
the beer
man,
any
if
good?
they
probably?
do,
I don't know.
that has to be like crazy amounts.
While we think of that, Greg, you were up for your last pick, buddy.
I'm gonna throw in my last like. It was one of the things that when I tried this, it was amazing. It combined two of my favorite things: beer,
And coffee?
beer, and Oreos.
Oh,
Give me Hitchhiker Brewing Oreo Speedwagon.
Yep.
I love that beer.
great name.
It's a phenomenal name. Yeah. Credit to
Great
whoever.
beer, great name. Credit to what?
Credit to like whoever decided that REO Speedwagon should just put an O in front of it, and it was amazing. Just
Yeah.
amazing
And then-
on that one.
Yeah, for it to be Oreos too, Greg.
Yes,
like,
I know.
Have you had that
is-
one, Adam?
Yeah, no, totally. It came up in conversation at the brewery today because we were talking about beers we like that are like those weird, like chocolatey, like different beers. Like that came up as like, shit, that's like top shelf. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's so good, dude.
Also, as like an underrated one too, I would throw Allegheny City's Nancy B's chocolate stout as well in there. That's delicious.
Yes, a new one, dude. Good. Wow, you are tapped in. But that one,
Well, there
That
goes
was-
my last round pick, Greg.
Was it really?
No, not at all.
Oh my
I
god.
just like to make him feel bad, Adam. To be honest with you, I told you he is. So honestly, Adam, we left the brewery, and I asked Greg. I said, "Hey, how does it feel to be an influencer?"
Oh, shut
And he
up.
goes, I am
Shut
not.
up.
I am not. I am not. I just like beer. I am not. I just like beer. Adam, when
Yeah.
I tell you that he might know the most out of anybody that's not in the beer industry about beer,
Oh my.
I wish I was kidding. Like
you weren't kidding. Yeah.
I just read.
He knows a lot.
you read,
Yeah.
but you read the right shit, brother.
You keep up with it, man. Like I love that we can toss each other knowledge and like pro tips because like yeah, Derek had mentioned like, yeah, this dude kind of knows what he's talking about, and obviously now that I'm in the industry, I'd like to think I do, but like, dude, you're in it, man. No doubt about it for sure.
Yeah, I'm in too deep.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about this show, Adam, is that we try to branch craft beer and
Yeah.
sports, and I'm the sports and alcoholic, and Greg knows certain things here and there. So.
Yeah, that's really how it works.
Josh, your
Just
last
remember
pick,
who's
buddy.
the glitter and who's the glue.
I'm the.
You're the glitter.
It's okay.
Yeah, Adam. A long time ago, I think it was my dad gave us an analogy of glitter and glue. Apparently, I'm the glitter and Greg is the glue. I don't know how to take it in terms of my parents' analogy of that one, but I like to assume that glitter is good.
Apparently, your dad thinks you're sparkly.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
dig it.
sticky.
I
There's
guess
like-
that
it's
makes me
like-
macaroni.
Ooh. I kind of would equate that with like the back of house and the front of house. If Derek is front of house with the glitter and then we have the glue, like you have to have both to have a full, brewery.
All right.
I like that a lot. I'm going to tell Greg that whenever
Yeah.
we have to have an awkward conversation about kicking him out of 2 beers deep.
Ugh.
my
Long time coming. Josh, I saw what you were searching up.
Yeah.
That's near and dear to my heart right there. So
So there, I'm Butler County ride or die for life. I'm never gonna wash that stank off me as much as I try.
hell no.
So we gotta go fucking North Country Brewery Firehouse Red.
Yeah.
Ah,
It's a great beer.
All-time-
Honestly, it's between that and the Bucko Blonde. for me.
yeah. All-time classic. I
I
went to Slippery Rock. I mean, it's prevalent everywhere. So
when one of my best friends, closest friends in the entire world, got married. He got married in Slippery Rock because that's where his parents live, and it's a really important place to both of us. And we closed down North Country
Bravo.
the night before his wedding,
bravo.
and they let us stay an extra hour past their close. They just kept bringing pitchers,
North Country's
and
awesome.
that is, and it was Firehouse
Back in the day,
Red.
it was just the brewery.
It
was
was.
the brewery, 2005.
Have you
Come
been up
on.
that way, Adam?
So I have not been there in person. I have had their stuff.
Mhm.
That is so awesome that you guys have deep enough ties to this region to be able to call back and recognize how North Country has influenced what is happening, today
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, and I worked for the owners of Ginger Hill in high school. I mean, that drag means a lot to me personally, and it's a lot.
Also, I think they were the ones that actually came up with the concept for like the 6-pack holder. That's like recyclable and all that now too.
It could
believe
very
that.
well.
I think
have
they were because I
Yeah.
remember reading the thing where
I
they
told you, Adam.
they came up with it because it was pet friendly. was
Yeah,
like-
dude.
been.
You know what we call them in the industry is the pack tech. Have you heard that? The pack
No.
tech.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
It's like a little grippy, like a 4-pack holder, 6-pack holder.
Mhm.
Yeah, we call them pack techs. But that is so cool that has a tie to our area too.
Yeah.
I mean, Pittsburgh is beer. Beer is Pittsburgh. That's Western Pennsylvania. We don't do a whole lot, but we fucking get beer right.
Which leads me to the last pick.
Yes, let's go.
Adam, I would be an absolute fraud, phony asshole if Yingling.
Yeah.
Yingling has been the shot in a beer for as long, and Icy Light's in there as well. But Yingling is Yingling has been the exact beer I always wanted when everybody told me I couldn't have beer. Yingling has been the staple point beer. I've had Yingling at weddings. I've had Yingling at funerals. I've had Yinglings at graduation. I've had
Wow.
Yinglings on a Tuesday afternoon. I've never had a bad Yingling.
Derek.
And someone pointed to me once and said at Six Pen, "Give me one of them Asian beers." And I said, "That's from Pennsylvania, you fucker."
Yes. You know what? When every time I visited Justin Luteran from Thoughts from the Movies in L.A.,
Yeah.
he said, "Can you bring me a 6-pack of Yingling?"
I have friends in Las Vegas that say we can't get Yingling.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
is just.
Yep.
It's not. You
It
know what I
wasn't
mean?
the first beer we all tried?
Mine was Gold Lager.
Oh, mine
Uh,
was Yingling.
Yeah,
but
you know,
also Yingling
you
isn't.
know what? Mine was Yingling. Yeah, now that I think about it.
Yingling.
Yeah, mine
But
was
it's not
Yingling.
like a light beer. It's not like another Icy Light. It's not
No.
another Miller. Yingling is a goddamn Pennsylvania beer.
First
It
time,
is.
first time I ever
Black
got,
and tan, let's go, Timmy!
first time I ever got drunk
Fuck
was
yeah.
from Yingling. I had 8 of them.
So
was
I
rough.
just want to read off Timmy's real quick because
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are all great. Hitchhiker,
User
Bane,
submission.
Bane of Existence, Brewer, Haze Jane,
Haze Jane was in
Yingling,
my
Black or
list.
Tan. So many drunken nights on Black and Tan in college. Rogue Bat Squatch.
Squatch is great.
Let's go. Avalanche, Amber, Breckenridge. Yes.
Breckenridge is good.
But I will say, I think that I have the only or Iron Lager. Okay, I was gonna say I think I have the only traditional, like lighter beer on here, but I forgot Adam took
no,
Iron
Adam's
see
Lager
it.
off. the
Adam's
list.
got the
Yeah.
OG when it comes to that.
Adam, finish us off, buddy.
Dude, cool. So I guess to tie it back to like the purpose of like the sports mission. So I went to college to do sports, to do track and like run cross country. And my first ever craft beer, I think I told you guys before the show, was at Jackie O's. So I have to pay homage to what started it all for me. And it's a bit of like a, if you're going to end the meal with dessert, you're going to have it be sweet. So there was a beer at Jackie O's in Athens, Ohio called the Raz Wheat, Razz Wheat.
Wheat.
And it's a
That sounds
raspberry
good.
wheat beer. Dude, it's awesome. They legitimately just, I think this year might have discontinued it. I'm not sure. But my homies back home in Ohio were like, yeah, like they're telling us at Giant Eagle that this is the last batch. But Raz Wheat was a
way.
beer. Dude, it was honestly at that era, like we're talking like, so I'm 34. So like when I was varsity, it was 08 to 10, like traveling, running cross country and like, just like we come back to Athens and we would drink Raz Wheat. And it was this awesome experience because like we didn't have Yingling. Yingling didn't distribute.
Yeah.
We wanted it, but we couldn't get it till 2011. And it was that or like, Bud Light, which is dope. But like we drank Raz Wheat and it would be a shame if I didn't shout out the brewery.
You promised the Jackie O's, man.
Yeah.
You did.
I know I
want to get out
man.
there. Is that Cleveland? You said?
Athens, Ohio.
Is it
So
Athens?
Southeast
Oh, sorry,
Ohio.
okay.
It's about 30 minutes from West Virginia. So
Huh.
not far from Pennsylvania, but it's like the southeast corner of Ohio.
So
And
Well, when
Go
we
ahead.
do that brewery, Adam, I would love for you to
Yeah.
come with
hang on, because I love Athens, Ohio, because Athens, Ohio, in 2013, used to have a gas station that had cases of pumpkin. And I would drive there every year to buy a case of pumpkin. It cost $110
What?
because they were the big bottles. They weren't making
Oh, you're
small
talking
bottles.
Like, you're talking like the big ones,
right.
Okay.
So you got 32 of them of the
Oh my-
32-ounce bottle.
wow.
Oh, dude, yeah. I'm an OG when it comes
No,
to
no,
craft
I'm
beer.
not. I'm impressed by you. I'm wondering what the fuck is wrong with Athens, Ohio at this point.
Yeah.
It was
I
just-
gotta be
it was
honest,
this
that's a-
gas
that's-
station
there's a
in
lot
this
of margin
small
there.
fucking
So,
town.
yeah. So wait a
Yeah.
sec. So you got
Oh, man.
32 of them for
Wow.
$110.
$110.
So you got those for less than $4 a bottle.
Yeah, I
That's
mean, pretty
absurd.
much.
That's absurd.
That was, but that
I'd
was
buy Pepsi at a higher margin.
Anastasia and I would save our money and
Holy
we were
shit.
broke as fuck, but we would save our money for a case of pumpkin every year when it
That's
came out, and
amazing.
I would drive
God
down there,
damn, man.
and I would.
That
get
is
it.
amazing. And that sounds like Athens. The culture there honestly reminds me of the culture here in Pittsburgh. It's a beer
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
It's just like a little Appalachian, hardworking town, and they love beer. And they only have like, I think 3 breweries in the whole city. It's a small city.
Oh wow.
But Jackie O's was the first. And I used to work for a magazine when I was just like doing full-time journalism. And we interviewed Art, Art is the guy who owns Jackio's, and he's just this old hippie who just brews in his basement and just scaled it up
That's
to be
what
this
I
like
hope to be one day.
Wow.
production brewery.
Well, Adam,
Oh,
we'll,
dude,
we'll do a full scale 3 brewery Athens day, and you're coming with us. So just to give you a
That'd be
heads
fun.
up, man.
cool. I'm down. I'll bring a bunch of Trace spirits we can trade.
No, hell
I
yeah.
love
No,
that.
No,
I
honestly,
love that.
Adam, I'm doing the Love is the Way right now. IPA with Citra and Galaxy hops.
Yeah.
Can you wait real quick before we kick you off? What are Galaxy hops? Because I first found out about them
From
on
space?
No.
No.
Fun fact: 11th Hour and then Space. Because 11th Hour had a beer with Galaxy hops, and I said, "Well, that's clearly like a marketing ploy, right?" And he's like, "No, those are real hops." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't want to ask this guy what the fuck they are."
Hop
Adam,
reality
what are
also
Galaxy hops?
amazing.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, Derek, it's just a hop variety. There are like several varieties of hops, and I'm not sure how it got that name. To be totally honest, I'm not that deep into the production side, but
Yeah.
when it got that name, every brewery gets an allotment. So at the beginning of the year, when you're thinking, all right, gee, I want to brew this recipe in like July, and I'm going to need, a few pounds of Galaxy, you typically buy your allotment. And then when the beer comes out, if you're holding your can, you look at the label and it says brewed with Galaxy. We're using part of our allotment to dry hop in the fermenter tanks back there. So it's just another name for a hop variety, just like Idaho, just like Colorado, just like
Okay.
Citra, just like any other Mosaic, any other hop variety. Galaxy is a hop variety.
I love it, man. Adam,
This
honestly,
has been awesome. That is
Yeah.
just true
You are-
love, says Timmy J. That's
Yeah.
true.
Adam, I can't stress enough that I love you.
Yeah, Adam, I have one real quick question that I need to ask just because
Do it.
I really got to know.
Yeah. What's up?
She knows more than you. When should we be expecting to see this across like all the breweries? Because I'm very excited to try this.
I drank a Black is Beautiful before the show, and Greg pointed and he addressed me for what it is, but please tell the people because it is a beautiful story.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, dude, like our goal is to have it be as prolific as what became Black is Beautiful. But basically, here in Pittsburgh with the prevalence of craft beer and the breweries kind of, cropping up, a group of us formed something called the PBDC. It's the Pittsburgh Brewery Diversity Council. We're just trying to kind of amplify people who are Black or brown or women or gay in the beer industry here. And our whole like purpose was to start by maybe creating a collaboration beer with a base recipe we would be open sourcing. So anybody can take the recipe and brew it as long as a part of the proceeds go back to benefit a nonprofit. And so She Knows More Than You was kind of like a, hey, like, if you go to a brewery and your bartender or brewer is a woman, turns out they usually do know what they're talking about, and you shouldn't undercut them. And so She Knows More Than You is going to be a kettle sour beer. And as far as to go back to the question, yeah, we're super stoked because anybody can add adjuncts. So obviously, you guys had the plum beer, plum, and apricot as adjuncts into
Which
the
I've
sour.
never had a plum or apricot beer before. So
Dude,
that was
totally.
amazing.
Yeah, we're stoked to like let folks kind of run with it and add different like raspberry or blackberry or anything to it to add a fruit. But the timeline, so the funny thing is the timeline we're working with, to go back to the question, is there's a brewery opening in the North Hills called Necromancer. And
Adam, when I tell you that Greg was the first person to tell me about it, I can't make this up, buddy. Greg,
fresh grounds, man.
I know
That
he
beer's
says,
amazing.
well, I read. I
That
don't know
beer's
what
amazing.
the fuck he reads, but Greg knows
412.
everything about, and it's the weirdest shit.
412, good friends with, AC, right?
say it again, sorry.
Who brews that? Allegheny City, right?
No,
Correct,
no, no.
correct.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Allegheny
yeah,
City and
Allegheny City, good friends
is
with
at-
Union Fitness, where we are right now.
Which is
So-
across from Beerport.
Yep.
Which
No,
is in
no,
Beerport.
North side.
Yeah, beer.
What?
Beerport. What do I always mix them up. Greg.
Yeah, Beerport's in Lawrenceville.
What's the
Right.
one on North Shore with Allegheny City?
Oh, War Street's and Beers Cafe.
Beers Cafe.
Beers
thank you.
Cafe.
Oh, yeah, Beers Pub. Yeah, right on.
Beers Pub.
Beers
yeah.
Pub.
So,
thank you.
Allegheny
yes.
City brews it. They're really tight with Union Fitness, which is where we are right now at the Union Fitness Studios. So.
Also, I'm going to
Gotcha,
extend
gotcha.
Adam an invitation as the +1 for me to Susie Boozy.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Adam, we run Josh, go ahead. Adam, you're my +1, but Josh, go ahead.
So when there's a beer festival called Beers and Gears, which Adam, we need to get you in. We need to get Trace down there.
Oh,
immediately.
Adam, you have no fucking clue what you signed up for to be on the show tonight. I just
Yeah,
want
you
to
Oh,
really
but
did.
shit.
bud.
welcome to our environment, buddy.
That
All
half
right.
of my day is gone from my memory. on
But
that one.
when Beers and Gears got shut down, my mom and I, who is Sassel in the chat right now,
Amazing.
decided, fuck no. We can't let the summer go by without a beer fest. So we
Man.
started our own Susie Boozies, and we had a fucking blast this summer. We tried to be as COVID friendly as possible, but Trace, you're coming. It's gonna be a fucking blast.
I get a +1, Adam.
You
It's
get
buddy.
you get an official glass too.
Yes,
So it's,
You
it's
do get a
official.
glass, yeah.
It's
I was
official.
unable to visit because of a family passing, but it looked like an endeavor.
It was the
event.
best.
So
That
this summer,
glass is
Adam,
in
I'll
my
shoot you a text.
rotation.
We'll go to
It's the
Susie
best.
Boozy, buddy.
Yeah, dude, I'd be honored, man. So that's awesome. Thank you for the invite. Definitely, I accept that. That's super
Yeah.
dope.
Love it.
I'm pumped to drink your fucking female empowerment beer. You know
Yeah,
my
man.
wife Anastasia, like she's gonna, and you made it a sour. Like that's her favorite kind of beer. She's gonna be so pumped when she finds out about this.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy to hear that, man. Yeah, honestly, the timeline, just to go back to Derek's
Yeah,
question,
please.
like we're honestly just waiting for Necromancer to open. So basically, the assistant head brewer at Penn Brewery, her name is Lauren.
Yes,
Lauren quit
I know
Penn
Lauren.
Brewery. Yeah, so if you know Lauren, she quit Penn Brewery to launch Necromancer, and they are just getting their equipment and their tank set up. And she expects to be brewing by March, meaning we could have beer by May. So basically, be on the lookout for this spring for She Knows More Than You, which will be the first Pittsburgh Brewery Diversity Council collaboration beer, which ideally gets brewed by multiple breweries.
Right.
And the second collaborating brewery, which we're tentatively calling Culture Shock, will be Trace. So go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But that's it. Yep.
I was just gonna
Awesome.
say, what's the best way, honestly, for our viewers and everything? Because we're just to let everyone know, we're going till 9 tonight. We just are. What's the best way for our viewers, for me, for Greg, for Josh, to support the She Knows More Than You?
She knows more than you. Yeah.
She knows more than. What's the best way for us to support it right now? Is it just sharing the ability that it will come out? Are there things that we can do to help it? Because I think that the Black is Beautiful was something that I aligned so heavily with just in the state of Texas and friends being there, and then that grew everywhere. What's the easiest way right now for people to align, affiliate, and support the She Knows More Than You beer before it even comes out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are literally just setting up our website and our social. If you feel compelled to follow, there's not much there because we just formed, but it is literally Pittsburgh Brewery Diversity Council on Facebook and Instagram. You're welcome to follow us. You're also welcome to just like Derek said, just wait, because we will inevitably hit the press with these, different releases once we have the information from Lauren. But yeah, man, I'd say those two things. Just follow us as the PBDC, or just kind of chill, because once they're up and running in the North Hills with Necromancer, and we can get this first collaboration out the door, it'll be super exciting, because then you can get it in cans, get it on draft, and ideally we can safely get together and enjoy it and have a good time.
Love it, buddy. Adam, you are a tremendous human, and I can't thank you enough for just literally even being friends with me, let alone our show, let alone Greg and Josh, let alone the whole entire brand. I thank you so much just for everything you have done, for just being who you are, buddy, and everything that, so quickly
Pittsburgh
to
is
jump
better for you
on. Well, it's
because
just
of you.
so quickly to jump on our BLM episode and all these things and being a partner with us. Trace has a special place in Thoughts on the Bench and Two Beers Deep and all of the shows we have history just for you being involved with it. So I can't thank you enough for joining us. We clearly went over because you were just a fascinating person.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't, literally, to everybody in the chat, everybody viewing, everybody here in the studio, I cannot stress enough that, Adam, I appreciate just knowing you as a human. So thank you very much for being on.
Yeah,
tonight,
Adam,
buddy.
thank you so much, man. This was
Yeah.
a good talk.
No, you're good. I'm sorry, I just burped, but yeah, you guys are good, man.
Trust
Do
me,
it all the
I
time.
burped
Do it all the
saying
time.
what I said.
Do it all the time.
Trust me.
Yeah, no, you guys are good. I appreciate you having me on, and we look forward to having you guys at Trace, man. Thanks for the time, and dude, keep up the good work, man. This is super awesome that you guys are keeping this going.
Thank you, buddy. Adam, we will absolutely have you on. Just
Whenever.
Friend of the show is what I've been tagging people with at this point. So love you and appreciate you, man. I'm super excited to do when you guys are open up to do a brewery review, as Greg and I have been doing. Even though Greg's in
Live show.
Greg's in Lent form, excuse me. So Josh and I might be doing that one just to cuck Greg a little bit.
What about a live
more
show?
in a live
What about
show.
a live show?
You know, the only problem I have with a live show is that I might need to do it in that tub room in the tub, Adam. We got to figure that out.
All
some
right,
way,
we
That's a
make it
somehow.
great
happen.
marketing ploy right there. That's a great marketing ploy.
I saw that little nip tuck lean, like,
That's a
but,
great idea.
Adam, we will absolutely always be repping Trace.
Cool.
The sticker's going to my laptop as we speak, buddy. I can't thank you enough for being a part of this.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the beers, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Appreciate it.
We are trash. Thank you. No. Responsibly.
stressed.
Responsibly.
Love you, brother. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the Rank King to close out the show. Adam, thank you very much, buddy. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, Adam, thank you, man.
See you guys.